This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
And the next tour happened the very next month. You guys are going to be in Dublin, Ireland on November 28th. Once
right
again, right after Thanksgiving. The main event is you over Road Dogg on night one in Dublin.
Good house. We later ran that with TNA, but that little arena.
Actually, I think I have that maybe backwards.
Belfast and Dublin were two shows in Ireland that I'm like, okay, he's already diving into, Ireland. And I mean, as we'll get into this, he didn't just pick a few shows. It's Newcastle and Glasgow and Dublin and Belfast and London and Manchester and Birmingham. Sorry to get ahead, but I mean, it was here we go, 10-day tour.
Yeah. So, you do 2 nights here. I said the first night was Dublin. Actually, the first night's Belfast. Either way, yeah, you beat Road Dogg in the main event in both markets. And then you jump over to Birmingham. And again, it's a main event with you involved. But this time, it's a little different. The first 2 nights were the same old crew. But here, we've got Jeff Jarrett defeating Scott Steiner and the Road Dogg. It's a 3-way dance. And your old pal Scott Steiner is involved. How does Scott get tagged in here? I know you and he have been friends for years.
I think it was a deal about running lean and mean. So we probably did 2 Ireland dates, and his guarantee, and I would say his, not Scott's, my bad, Andrew McManus, his brokered deal that when he went to the UK, he brokered with other promoters over there. And so smaller venues, I don't know the exact numbers, but smaller. So it was a smaller crew on the first 2 days. And if I remember correctly, we had like 3 days off over there. And you
had 4 actually.
Okay. That's a pretty healthy stay. And so we brought in talent, to kick off the full tour, so to speak. But I can remember a couple of hotel room meetings, and it was okay. Now we're getting into the meat of this, and Andrew was having meetings, and it was one of those things. How are we going to make this thing profitable and enjoyable, and where we can come back? I would say the optimism. I don't have it completely locked down, but it was riding high.
You got to get excited about saving people all those dollars. They can limousine ride and jet fly now with that extra cash.
And they can style and profile with a quick 10-minute phone call right now to 425-0105.
That's 425-0105. Woo!
SaveWithConrad.com. Let's talk about the actual main event. But before we do, here's a little context from the Observer. The main event of Jeff Jarrett versus Brian Christopher wasn't finalized until a few hours before match time. The promotion wanted to do Jarrett versus Steiner, but neither was willing to do the job for the other. Jarrett did the show, but has been mad at McManus since McManus told Jarrett he was his right-hand man, but then after recruiting Savage, no longer catered to Jarrett. When Savage screwed him, he tried to go back with Jarrett, but Jarrett was still upset about how things went down, and there was even some question until about a week before the show as to whether or not Jeff would appear. Christopher had gotten a legal letter from the WWF, and who didn't see that coming, threatening the promotion if they billed him as Grandmaster Sexay. Lot to unpack here. I don't question the cease and desist that Christopher got. Is this true? You refused to do a job for your old pal Scott Steiner.
So yes, that is, and he was definitely refusing to do one to me. There was a definite stalemate because I'm going back to Andrew. We went through this Savage deal, and look, I'll give you a bogey, a mulligan on that. I kind of told you that wasn't going to pan out, but whatever. But going through this, I'm telling you, get you a crew and stick with it. And if you honestly believe Steiner is going to be with you, great. I don't buy it. And so at this point, Andrew, we've really got some decisions to make. Am I on the team or off the team? And that was a very succinct conversation. Oh, we'll worry about it after Vegas. Well, Andrew, that isn't really how this industry works. You want to worry about it after Vegas. And I get that as a promoter. He had so many headaches. He had so many balls in the air. It became overwhelming. He got in over his head from a political point of view. He learned his quick lesson with Savage. He learned his quick lessons with other talent. I think he really thought more than anybody he was going to have Mysterio. Again, he was on the job training, if you will, dealing with talent. And we were coming to this fork in the road. And Andrew, I've sort of told you this from day one, get your touring all-stars together and go with them. That's the only one, because winners and losers, again, growing up in the promotion, you show up to work, half your locker room is not happy. In essence, look, it's evolved over time. Certainly, certainly evolved over the 35 years. But in essence, a half of your locker room doesn't get their hand raised and would probably prefer to get their hand raised. Not that they're not going to do it, not that they're refusing to do it, but they would prefer to further their career. So now here we are 9, 10, 11 months after the close of WCW, and it's the wild, wild west of the independent scene, if you will. So doing jobs and favors and business and all that, the roads were beginning to, okay, what is the next step? And I go back to what I told Andrew prior to the Savage, that whole deal is who's on the team and who's off. And when he said, oh, we need to put Steiner over, and I'm sure Scott, in Scott's so diplomatic way, told Andrew, I ain't getting beat. I don't care who's in the ring with. Yeah. Okay. You're going to wrestle Jeff. Jeff will put you over. And they probably came to me and went, and I'm like, nope, that ain't going to work.
Here's the match from the Observer. Jeff Jarrett pinned Brian Christopher to retain the title in 13-17. Crowd wasn't hot for this, but they were reasonably into it, with Jarrett having some WCW main event credibility and Christopher having the charisma coming off WWF TV. Christopher's pants fell down while he was dancing. They traded some sleepers. They had a ref bump, which at least they hadn't done up to this point. Christopher did a leg drop off the top, but there's no referee. They sent Mark Johnson out to play the face referee, and he went for the count out, but the other ref pulled him off. Then the refs started fighting each other. That comedy is exactly what wasn't needed to get the title over, although these two at a title match, that wasn't happening anyway. Jarrett hit Christopher with a guitar shot while the referees fought, and the first ref went to count, but Johnson pulled him off. Jarrett ends up getting the pin after a low blow and the stroke on the title belt, 1.5 stars. Was Brian not ready to be in the main event, or was this just, hey, we got to get a show in the ring, and the Steiner thing fell apart? I guess we should mention, Steiner was there that night. Your undercard is Nova beating, and check this talent out, Low-Key, Shark Boy, AJ Styles, Tony Mamaluke, Christopher Daniels. The next match is the Funkster and Reno, and then Chronic over Native Blood. Puppet the Midget Killer, that's a thing, defeated Teo. Eddie Guerrero beats Psychosis and Juventud Guerrera. Devin Storm beat Sabu. Rick Steiner and the Cat beat the West Hollywood Blondes, and Jeff Jarrett beats Brian Christopher. So you've got quite a cast of characters here, and you rattle off some of those names like Low-Key and Shark Boy and AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels. Yeah. Anyway, Brian Christopher, main event. Was he in the wrong place, you think?
Well, we were playing the hand we were dealt, and me and Brian go back, since kids, but yeah, we'd wrestle each other, hundreds of times in Memphis. And I don't remember the exact particulars, but I knew I could go out and have a match with him, and Brian never cared he never cared about winning or losing. And I can't say that he was all in on being a World Wrestling All-Star, but at that late stage of, and I'm still saying, all the talent, not just Savage, but all the uncertainty. It's like, and the thing that I most remember about this match was Terry Taylor going, Jeff, you made the time by like 5 seconds, 7 seconds. We literally almost ran out of pay-per-view time. The lack of communication and the ref bumps, I'm sure, played a factor, or maybe they didn't. But we just, the whole is a mess. The whole, and going out that late in the show in a theater seating, whatever kind of reaction we got, we were probably lucky to have anyway. It was not a good, it wasn't a red letter day to step in the ring. Really, for any of us, it is what it is. But or it was what it was. But I'm certain I was happy that the match just took place.
This group of talent too. Nathan Jones. Now, of course, everybody listening to this knows Nathan Jones, but here's what you might not remember. You saw Nathan Jones in 2002. This is 2001. This is pre his WWF run. And Danny Dominion, by the way, I think we should mention most people probably know of his work, even if they don't know of him, because of Ace Steel, who obviously had played a big hand in CM Punk and Colt Cabanas. And anyway, Nathan Jones, what'd you think meeting this guy for the first time?
So Andrew obviously hyped him up to me before we got there and talked about his size and everything. You just take one look at Andrew and you just go, wow. And then obviously me being the in-ring talent go, oh boy, somebody's got their work cut out. Let's keep it simple, accentuate the positive, add the negative. But what a physical specimen, and his face is money. He just is blessed, gifted. He's got an incredible look.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.